What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all doing well today. Welcome to our very first video in our new gold farming series. As the title suggests, we're heading down into the Wailing Caverns today. Just as a side note, I think you'll enjoy this gold farm if you do try it out. And with that being said, it would be amazing if you could give this video a quick thumbs up to help it reach more people so they can enjoy it too. But anyways, this series is going to contain a special select number of my original dungeon gold farms that I did way back before phase 3. The main reason I wanted to go back and revisit these older farms was for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's because I wanted to go back and see if they're still good for making gold or not. Secondly, I wanted to see if they're even better than the original versions when I did them due to having way better gear now. Also, I wanted to make a few alterations to some of them as the quality and methods aren't, in my opinion, as refined as they could be. Lastly, these revisits have been on my mind for quite some time now. I had initially wanted to go back once I had all of the gear that I needed. Unfortunately though, just much like phase 1 and 2, I'm still stuck missing one piece of gear. This time it's the shoulders. I still need my T2 shoulders from Blackwing Lair. Then, aside from the biz items, I'd say that Roly is complete. Cause, let's face it, I don't know about you guys, but I certainly can't be arsed with rank 13 grind. Anyways, now that we've got our new intro to this series covered, let's talk the usual briefing before we get into the nitty gritty. As always, I love covering the positives and the negatives to any of the gold farms that I do. So let's start out with the negatives first. This gold farm has only two negatives in my opinion. The first is the fact that it's in the Barrens, so for us Alliance players, it is quite far out of the way. The second is that most of the items here aren't going to sell like hotcakes since they're mainly for twinks or people leveling the alts. But you shouldn't worry about this too much because let's face it, they will sell eventually anyway regardless. It's just a matter of time. Moving on to the positives now, I feel that the good far outweighs the bad in this gold farm. You see, as a level 60 Holy Paladin, I can find myself hitting lockout in this new circuit in under 30 minutes. It's also super easy to do, plus taking into account some of you low level alts can actually do this too. It's because of this reason I would consider it. Even though it may be on the lower end of gold made per hour, it's something different. You see, there's a reason why I no longer do AoE dungeon gold farming, or at least very rarely. You see, after doing hundreds of runs over and over again, you do get fed up with it. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're watching this looking for new inspiration because you're bored of doing dime or lasher farms all day, you should have it right here. After all, how many other people are showing unique gold farms like these? Who is it good for? To be honest, I think that you all know what I'm going to say about this. Of course, the best players for this are going to be a paladin and a mage. Although, I'm going to be biased here and say a paladin would have the edge over a mage, since we all know how good a paladin actually is despite popular misconception. Following these classes though, I feel like the likes of your hunters, warlocks, druids and rogues and warriors will be following behind shortly after. I could list the shaman as either higher or lower due to the spec. It all depends on what spec they are really. And then finally, going down the list to the priest class. The reason all of these lesser classes will have a good chance at this gold farm despite them not being great for AoE farming is simply because the elites are all fairly low level and are easy to kill in this dungeon. Granted, you probably won't farm as much gold per hour since you're essentially single targeting most of the mobs. You can burn them down fairly fast though if your gear is up to it. And of course, by now we all know where the Wailing Caverns is located, but just in case you didn't, it's right here as shown on the map. Once you're at the cave entrance as shown here, simply follow it through and eventually you'll end up at the instance's entrance. So, before we begin this new version of the gold farm, I'd like to point out a couple of items that I'm using for this. Since the mobs are lower levels in this, I'm not going to be using the essence of the pure flame. Instead, I'm going to keep my Briarwood reed for this farm, and I'm also going to have Ramstein's lightning bolts equipped. The reason for this is because, despite them not being difficult to dan, I feel that the extra firepower from these two trinkets would come in really handy. Also, I feel that despite not needing it and the fact that I could use Songstone of Ironforge, I think that it's better to make use of both the heavy dark iron ring as well as the band of servitude for this gold farm. simply because I know that I have plenty of spell power and downing them won't be an issue. So the extra health and armour for the survivability would be much more suited in my opinion. The final thing that I'd like to note is that since they are lower in level, I'm going to be switching back and forth between the Skullflame Shield as well as Gizloc's Hypertech Buckler for this one. Which of course this shield is easily soloable to acquire and is found in Maradon from the boss named Tinker Gizloc. Of course I'm aware that there are better shields out there, but as you all know, I've had this forever and I haven't bothered finding better since I don't use it all that often anyway. So let's finally get into what you came here for. Just like our original videos, I'm going to be switching now to a freestyle commentary of me doing the pool live. I'll be taking you guys through it step by step just like I did way back when. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, so just like the old route, what we're going to do is we're going to keep on running down here just like usual. Drop down a rank 1 consecration right there just to grab that mob. And we're going to try and strafe as much as possible on this bit as well. So we're going to grab these mobs here, go around here like so. Try and alternate between targets as well, because the reason being is since they've got such low HP, you don't really want to kill them. Or at least not yet anyway. So we'll just gather these like so. Now we're going to go around here for this bit, just to tag this mob, get him with a Judgment of Light, and then we'll come back round here in a figure of 8 pattern, okay? So that mob there should grab on, drop down right now consecration, grab this mob. So we're going to come back round here. Pop a holy potion just like so. So there we go guys, you see what I mean there by the figure of 8 around that section there? Just to get all the mobs, I find that's the easier route to take really. So we'll just grab this mob here. Another round 1 consecration. We'll go around here. Grab this one. Pop a holy potion since we're getting a bit low. Now at this point I'm going to jump down here so I can throw a holy light off. Okay, just to get my HP back. I'm going to aggro this mob. Yep, there we go. So right now I'm going to switch over to Skullflame as I'm rounding up these crocodiles because they also have a chance to drop the deviant scales. So we'll go grab this final one up here. I'm changing over to Retribution Aura. Running up here to the casters, dropping down max rank consecration, reseal Judgment of Light, pop holy potion, and there we go guys. So you don't really need to bubble with this. I mean in a second I'm going to pop off Ramsteins as well like so. Boom, just to finish them off there. Now I notice I've got a straggler up there as well, which is annoying. Got one here, try and stop him. There we go. So you want to minimise these guys that are running away because it takes up a lot of time to chase them down, okay? So try and avoid that as much as possible. Change over to this. There we go. And done. So there we go, it's basically done in like 3 minutes. So we're going to loot up now. And if you remember, they're the bags after the previous 4 runs. Obviously we've disenchanted quite a lot of stuff to free up some bag space. Now hopefully we don't have full bags here, because if we don't, I'm going to go back and clear, you know, as much as I can till I got full bags. But if I'm honest, I don't think I will have any room, so I don't think there's any point. But we'll try it anyway, nonetheless. So just loot these up as fast as possible. Now, being honest, like I've had quite an unlucky 5 runs this time because you know, as you can see from the bags, I've only got one perfect deviate scale, which is really unusual actually. Normally I get at least 3 of them. I know the drop chance is kind of low. It's like, I think it's like 1 to 3% or something like that, from all of those raptors and whatnot. So we'll just finish this guy off. There we go. So we've now hit lockout and done 5 runs in under 30 minutes, okay? So we've also got full bags as well, so I'm going to disenchant the rest of these greens that I've picked up. And there we go, right? So, also another tip as well, guys, right? Before you get into this, if you speak to this guy here, he'll give you a nice druid buff, which I think I explained in the last video, but if not, it's there anyway. I know it's not like the higher rank one, but you know, 65 armor and an extra 2 attributes to everything is it helps out a little bit. So yeah, guys, this is my bags after the 5 runs in under 30 minutes. And obviously looking at Titan panel, of course we're not going to pick up much raw money from this instance, obviously because it's such a low dungeon. So according to this, it says I've picked up under a gold, which is fine. That's acceptable. Okay, so we're gonna HS outside of here in 10 minutes. So for you guys it's only going to be a split second, but for me it's going to be 10 minutes. So I'll see you guys as soon as this is done. Okay, let's HS out of here. Okay, so before I actually begin selling everything and doing the total gold made, I'm also going to create the rest of these bandages, okay? Just because we know that the bandages will sell for a lot more than the cloth on its own, okay? So there's the linen bandages. Now we'll make the wool cloth bandages. The vendor value for the linen cloth is 13 copper on its own, right? That's just for one. So the vendor value for the heavy linen bandage is actually 20 copper, okay? So it's, you know, it's not a lot. Yeah, of course it's only copper, but it's still more than what you would get if it was just the normal cloth, okay? Now, alternatively, you could sell this on the auction house. But for the purpose of the video, what we're going to do is we're going to sell absolutely everything, okay? Excluding those green items that we disenchanted. Okay, so that's done now. I'll just create this as well. And there we go, okay guys? Right, so here's all of the items that we collected after less than 30 minutes worth of farming, okay? We actually hit lockout there. That's 5 resets for that little circuit that we did there, okay? So if we take a look at the Titan panel, so the actual money that we picked up was 44 silver, okay? So of course I know that's not a lot, but obviously, you know, that's to be expected since it is a lower level dungeon, okay? So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell absolutely all of the trash items that we've collected, okay? And there we go, guys, okay? So that's all of the junk items sold. Just move these shoulders up here. Okay, so if we take a look at Titan panel now, we've actually made 3 gold and 28 silver, okay? So that's an increase of around 2 gold, 80 silver just for that. So we've got 2 gold, 80 silver for all of the grey trash items, and plus, you know, 44 silver for the actual money that we picked up, giving us a total of 3 gold and 28 silver, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at all of the value of the enchanting mats that we're going to sell on the auction. So starting with the strange dust, we've made 30 silver for that, and we've made 27 silver for that. So we'll be generous and round it up to 60 silver. And we've got 1 silver for the small glimmering shard, so we won't really count that because it's minuscule. We've also got another 30 silver for the lesser astral essence, and then finally we've got 1 gold, 40 for the greater magic essence. So that's a total of around 2 gold, 30 silver, okay, just for the enchanting mats, okay? So now we're taking a look at the gems that we picked up as well. We've got 90 silver for that, and we've got 25 silver for that, okay? So we'll round that off as well, and that'll take us to about 3 gold on top of that as well. Right, so then we'll take a look at the enchanting recipe that we picked up, which sells for another 70 odd silver, okay? We also got some of these sharp claws. Now, to be honest, I don't think they'll actually sell on the auction house, so I'll just vendor them as well. Sorry, I missed out the tiger's eye, but yeah, that's another 5 silver, okay? So we'll round that off and say, you know, that's like an extra gold. Okay, so that's 4 gold from that. And then we've got these as well, the serpent shoulders. Now these won't sell like hotcakes, okay, but they will sell eventually. They're more for like the lower levels that are just leveling up, or those the twinks that you can get at level 19. So they're 1 gold 19 silver each, okay, so that means that we've got a total of 23 gold 60 silver for that. So combining that with the previous 4 gold that we've actually got already, that's a total of 7 gold right there. Now we're taking a look at the big items that we've actually got, okay. Now this is actually quite interesting because, as I mentioned earlier, right, we seem to got really unlucky with the perfect deviate scales, which is the main thing that we're after in this gold farm. So usually you'd get anywhere from 3 to 6 for those 5 lockouts, right? And obviously, as you can see right there, they're worth about 2 gold 50, okay? Now, oddly enough, we actually got quite a lot of the normal deviate scales, okay? So personally, I've never really seen this many drop out of the 5 resets. Normally it's a lot lower than that. But again, I suppose it makes up for the lack of the perfect deviate scales there, okay? So for the 16 deviate scales, they're 80 silver each. So for the total, that's 12 gold and 80 silver right there, just from that. So we'll add that into the money that we've actually made, which is, we'll round it off and we'll say that's 20 gold right there, okay? So there's 20g from that, and of course the extra 2 gold 50 for that. That leaves us with a total of 22 gold and 50 silver just for the items in here. And then again, on top of that, combining it with the actual gold that we've made from the trash, that's a total of 26 gold in under 30 minutes, which is pretty damn decent, I must say, right? Especially for saying that, you know, this is probably a better farm for those lower levels. I mean, you know, just because I did it in, you know, 30 minutes doesn't mean that you guys can't. I mean, I would say that this is probably suited to the lower levels. Like, you could probably get this done in a bang on roughly an hour if you like level 40 or something. So, you know, for those of you who are like struggling to get your first mount, this is a fantastic way to make some gold. But again, for those higher levels, sure, you know, you're going to hit lockout after like half an hour, but that just goes to show, right? So you've made 26 gold there in 30 minutes. You can go AFK now and do something else, or you can log on to an alt and do the same thing. Therefore, your total hourly rate would actually be 52 gold from that, which, to be honest, for Wailing Caverns, is pretty damn decent if you ask me. So yeah, guys, either way you look at it, whether you want to do it twice per hour and make 52 gold per hour in Wailing Caverns, or whether you want to do it on your alt and make some gold for your first mount and only make, you know, 26 gold an hour, either way is fine. But, you know, hopefully, guys, this has cleared things up for you guys, okay? Essentially, it's not going to be up there on the higher gold per hour list, which I never expected it to do, nor did I intend on it. It's purely something different and fun to mix up your gaming sessions, as well as what I mentioned at the start of the video with the whole seeing how it performs now during phase 4 or 5 with more or less biz for AoE pulling as a Holy Paladin, okay? If you've enjoyed today's video or have gotten something useful from it, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel, as there is much more great content to come from me in the near future. Also, don't forget, I do produce weekly videos here on YouTube and a live stream every week too. Usually you can catch me on Sunday at 1 PM EU server time, although lately it's been on a Wednesday due to some background issues. But we'll be back to a regular Sunday schedule soon anyway, so not to worry about that too much. But until the next time, everybody, see ya. Oh, and just a side note as well, I forgot to mention that my repair bill was actually 2 gold for all of that, so we'll take that away now. And we're still, you know, around 50 gold an hour, which is pretty damn decent, to be honest. See you guys.